We found out his pins and plate were placed backwards and upside down. The surgery there, when we went to the States, was upwards over 100,000.
Meet Amanda and Ian, a U.S. family living in Ecuador whose son faced a serious medical issue. From a misdiagnosis to unexpected surgeries, their journey took a wild turn. Stick around until the end to hear their powerful advice for anyone thinking about getting healthcare abroad.
I think what is a great takeaway is
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is Eric. I am here with some interesting guests that have a really cool story that's going to be helping you manage living abroad. Let's go ahead and start off by getting to know who you are. What is your name?
my name's Amanda.
My name's Ian.
Okay, and where are you guys from?
So we're originally from all over the U.S. I'm from New Jersey. My husband's from Louisiana. We've got a Tennessee, a North Carolina, a Virginia, and a Colorado baby.
All right, so you guys are dispersed throughout the U.S., a full U.S. melting pot family.
Yes,
But where are we now?
We're in Cuenca, Ecuador.
What happened to you and your family?
Previously, before we moved, my son played basketball. He was having some knee problems. We got them checked out. And they said growth, he's in that maturation stage, just struggle through it. We relocated to Cuenca, Ecuador. Slowly, his leg started losing length. We started asking around. My brother-in-law, who's a physician, came and said, he's walking like his hip is the problem. He had not had pain in his hip, so we didn't even check the hip. We end up finding a traumatologist. You think you have that US mentality. You go to somebody, they'll know. And we thought, yes, the same thing. We'll just find a traumatologist, and we did. We found out he had a broken femur head that was misdiagnosed in the States due to referred pain. We were recommended a surgery, pins in his femur head. We were told maybe a year we'd find out the success rate, 80%. There'd be nothing wrong. He'd go on with it. Within a month after his broken femur head surgery, it was completely dead.
And how did you feel being in a different country when something so severe was happening?
I was very young at the time.
2 years ago.
Just with the pain and stuff, I wasn't too frightened. I was just it is what it is. I had to go through it. It was kind of just a leap of faith situation.
Yeah, so we went to the doctor. They said that he needed pins and a plate put in.
What were the costs of the surgery?
The cost for the initial surgery for the broken femur head was $5,000. Literally, it was like $5,000 and a few cents out the door at the hospital.
So this is in USD. For anyone that doesn't know, Ecuador operates on the USD.
Yeah, that was just cash. They give you discounts here for cash of anything, including surgeries.
And for being retirees.
Yeah, you have to pay before he can leave the hospital.
If you're enjoying this interview and you're interested in seeing more content like this, you can check out my playlist called the Expat Interview Playlist, where I have been interviewing people from Guatemala all the way down through Central America. And now here in South America.
Started his recovery. He started rehab. Things were great. Could walk again slowly.
What was the price of rehab?
It was about $200, and they give you however long you need. So you pay $200 up front, and if it takes 2 weeks to 8 months, it's all included in that price. So that's actually really good. So he did rehab 3 times a week at the hospital, and the pain was coming back.
Yep.
So we get new X-rays, and within a month, his entire hip had avascular necrosis. It was completely dead. Our surgeon recommended that he have femur lengthening surgery before they even touch a prosthetic because of the discrepancy in length in his legs. My husband and I were just a little confused about that. My husband has some medical background and his brother's a doctor, so we were just like, the length he would get with the prosthetic would equal out. Why would he need So it was a little light bulb.
How did you feel when you went to the hospital?
And the language it was kind of better, that I didn't know what was going on. But at that point, I didn't know rarely any Spanish, so it was confusing a bit scary, but I was also young and I knew it was for the best.
And you felt comfortable?
We had a facilitator. We hired a medical facilitator for our initial appointments and then for surgery. If you want to hire somebody, or if you have a friend who's a facilitator, definitely recommend getting yourself a facilitator, especially for medical things. She went to all the appointments.
How much was the cost, more or less, of a
$20 an hour is what they usually run for a facilitator, medical facilitator. He started having pain, and when he said that we couldn't touch the femur, the hip, to get the new hip because it was dead, he needed leg lengthening. It was a little curious to my husband and I, and we're like, maybe we should branch out to another doctor. He did not agree with the prognosis we got from the previous about what should happen next. He said, you need the prosthetic.
I've met expats, explored prices, walked the streets, and looked into safety. If you're serious about Ecuador, check out my full playlist for real boots on the ground info. So you went back to the US?
We did. We went back to the US. I scheduled, before I even got there, I scheduled some appointments. You know, his case is very special. Some doctors may not want to work after somebody else in a different country, so you got to be prepared about that.
Especially with age.
Nobody wanted to touch him. Do we do it now? Do we postpone? The pain was immense. So we went to Johns Hopkins in the US. Serendipitously, I contacted somebody in a different place, and they said, your case is too severe. I have a reference for you at Johns Hopkins, which is world renowned. I couldn't even believe it, that just fell in our lap. We go there. He has his, what would take an hour and a half surgery. It took 5.5 hours. Recovery times, usually a day in the hospital, maybe. He was 2 weeks in full recovery in the hospital, then an additional week in a facility in DC. It was extensive. The surgeon said top 3 hardest cases he's ever performed. We found out his pins and rod plate were placed backwards and upside down
through the growth plates.
And instead of 1 growth plate, it went through 2. The saddened part of the story is that he will forever have a limp. And
my femur head will never grow again because they have destroyed the growth plates.
My husband was a disabled military veteran for the Marines. We were able to apply and get some health care for him, along with the community here, which is amazing. We raised a GoFundMe through his church. The surgery for his prosthetic here would cost around $10,000, we were quoted. The surgery there, when we went to the States, was upwards in $75,000 for the surgery he had. Probably upwards over $100,000, all included.
What did you actually end up paying out of pocket after the insurance took out?
I'd say about $3,000 to have the surgery. You have to have these dental things.
Dental for your hip, huh?
He's got a prosthetic now. You have to be warned about different germs. A lot of germs that come into your body now. He'll forever have to have antibiotics before any dental procedure. He's bionic at 15. He's a walking miracle right now. The big lesson takeaway is get your second opinions, your third, fourth, fifth. I think people here recommend 4 or 5 opinions before you actually choose a doctor, decide your procedure. It's better to have that. Going in a little naive, we chose one, and in the States we would just pick one and go.
I think that's just a very common American mentality. I grew up with the same thing. It's like, well, we have this doctor, we have this dentist. The American system doesn't really provoke that idea.
So I think what is a great takeaway is a second opinion's $40. We found that out the second go around for the second doctor is, just going to another traumatologist, it's $40. It doesn't seem like a lot to just feel reassured. I could text him on WhatsApp and get a response immediately. I don't have to wait 2 weeks. I can get labs and x-rays done the same day. It's been amazing. So in that realm, you have access to your healthcare on a touch of a button.
Outside the US, there's just so many good options, and here is one of those really good options. Make sure to have all of these first, second, third, fourth, fifth opinions done before doing any 100%. Serious thing.
It's definitely good. Knowledge is power. That's literally what your takeaway is.
If you're coming to Cuenca or any medical tourism spots, knowledge is power, and they have their lessons learned, and this is what we're sharing for you guys. So if you're enjoying the content, let us know. Talk about anything that you have done in the comments of any surgeries you have had done here in Ecuador or in Colombia, any medical tourism spots. Go ahead, let us know, and see you in the next one.